everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nampumelelo Makagula. I don't know why I keep on saying my YouTube channel. Anyway, my name is Nampumelelo Makagula. This is Mommy Diaries. Thank you so much for joining me again today. If it is your first time here, please do make sure that you subscribe, you press the notification bell, you like, you share, and you comment. You guys actually never comment. I wonder why. But anyway, it's been 2 weeks since I posted something. I know I promised you guys consistency, but I'm gonna work on that. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about reasons why we shouldn't ask people when they are getting pregnant. You know, as society, I think we've been wired to think that, okay, as human beings, we come onto this earth, we go to school, we finish school, we go to varsity. If we don't go to varsity, we get a job, we get a partner, and then we get pregnant, and then we die, and then that's about it. If you don't have a child and you're over 23, 25, and you are married, you don't have a child, people are most likely to ask you, when are you giving birth? When are you giving us a child? When are you giving us a grandchild? When are you giving my child someone to play with? You know, we find those questions from our parents, cousins, friends, colleagues, and just people we know in general. And I find this question very invasive, and sometimes we are actively hurting people by asking this. And you know what? I am not saying I am better than anyone. I am not saying I've never walked up to a couple or someone I know and said, but so Mdala, don't you think the clock is ticking? Don't you think it's time for you to have a child now? I've also done that, but I think I've learned from my mistakes, and as we grow up and as we watch TV, as we read and as we research, we find out there's actually so many reasons why people don't have kids. And one of those reasons, the most common one, is infertility. Imagine walking up to a colleague or a friend or your child and you say to them, I'm so mdala, when are you planning to have a child? And they say to you, I've actually planned a long time ago to have a child, but it turns out I can't have a child of my own. It turns out I'm infertile. What then? What are you going to say? What is going to be your next comment or your next question? What are you going to say to them? Are you going to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know? Yes, you didn't know because you didn't have to know. So infertility is very common, and I'm thinking not having a child when you really want it and you know that you can't have a child is stressful, is devastating, and it's emotionally taxing. And to constantly have someone to remind you of that sad reality can be so frustrating. Imagine having to explain to everyone that actually no, I do want a child, but I can't have it. Actually, I can't have a child of my own. Imagine having to explain that to every person, even people who are not your friends, even people you feel like are not supposed to know that part of your life. But because people find themselves in this awkward situation of having to explain to us their personal matters. And it is said that up to 15% of couples who are trying for a baby may not have a child, you know. So with all due respect, let us refrain from asking people when they're having kids, because if they tell us that they're infertile, there's nothing we are going to do about it. Number 2, abortions. Other people don't have kids because they have to undergo abortions, and you are not Jesus, you are not God. It's not your place to judge, because people have abortions for different reasons. Some are not ready to have kids, I'm talking financially, and otherwise they're not ready to have children, and then they make a conscious decision to say, you know what, I'm not ready to have a child right now, or I'm in an abusive relationship right now, or this child came in a way I was not expecting, I'm not ready. You know, other people get raped. There's so many reasons why people have abortions. So imagine you just walked up to a person who had an abortion yesterday and you asked them, when are you having a child? You know, so this is another reason why we shouldn't be asking people when they are having children. If I tell you that I don't have a child because I just had an abortion, what's gonna be your reaction? Let's move on. Number 3, miscarriages. There are many couples who would like to have kids, but they don't have them because they're constantly experiencing miscarriages. And these are issues that couples are dealing with privately that you wouldn't know. There's people, celebrities, who've come out and said, I've actually had 3 abortions before having this child. Not abortions, miscarriages before having this child. And there's this other one who said, I've had 4 miscarriages. Is it 4 or 3? I've had 3 miscarriages. I can't remember the exact number. But imagine you're asking this person and you're constantly telling them, and you don't know the pain this person is dealing with. You don't know the reality this person is dealing with behind closed doors. And then now they have to smile to you and say, man. Oh, yeah, encourage, man. It's taxing emotionally. It's very devastating. And I think we should not do it. You have no idea the wounds you could be opening by asking a simple question as, when are you having a baby? Because this person you're talking to might have experienced miscarriage after miscarriage, and I can't possibly imagine the pain of losing a child or more than one child. And people now have to be brave and explain to you why they don't have a child now. It's very inconsiderate, I think. And by asking that question, you're also being invasive. It could be a little chit chat to you. It could be just a common question everyone is going around asking people who are married or people we think should be having kids right now. And I don't know who came up with that manual in life that, okay, at this age you should be having kids. By this age there's an expiry date. There's a timeline for you to have kids. I don't know where we got that, but let us refrain from asking people this question, because you may be talking to a person who's recently had a miscarriage and is trying to deal with the physical and emotional pain, and then you asking that question manje sovusa amanxeba and yenza ukuthi umuntu angakhoni nokuthi ahambe leyo process yokuthi ahile and forget about what just happened to them, because tina siyabajaha, we're pressurizing them to have kids. So this is one of the many reasons why we shouldn't ask people when they're having children. Let us move on. Other people don't have children because they are in abusive relationships. And this is not where you ask, but why aren't they living? No, it's not for you to decide. Other people aren't having children because they feel like they're in a toxic environment. It's a toxic environment for a child to grow up in. Maybe the couple is always fighting. Maybe the couple is undergoing therapy privately and they don't want people to know. So maybe the couple you're asking when they're having a child or when are they having a second child are busy dealing with some big issues in their relationship, and they feel like bringing in a child in that type of a situation is only going to make matters worse. I know many old people like saying, let's have a good relationship here, but that's not true, because a child needs attention, a lot of attention. And imagine now you can't give each other attention, and then you want to bring another human being to give attention. How is that going to work? How is that going to bring in peace into the house or the home or the relationship? It's not going to bring it. So I advise people to only have a child when they're ready, to only have a child in a healthy relationship. If your relationship is toxic and someone else is pressurizing you to have a child, I'm telling you to please take your time, deal with the relationship, move on if you want to move on, be alone if you want to be alone, but just don't have a child when you feel like the situation you are in is not healthy enough for you to raise a child in, because we don't want to bring in a child that's going to carry generational curses or generational anger. Now ukwatile, udele ukwatile, umntana ukwatile. We really don't know what happens behind closed doors. No one knows what's happening in a relationship except for the two people who are in the relationship. Because when I'm a status updates, when I'm a picture, and then you think this couple is happy, what if behind closed doors they are going through shit? What if behind closed doors they are dealing with so many situations, so many complications, and then now you want to complicate them further by asking them a simple question as, when are you having a child? Like, since when does having a child validate a relationship? Since when does having a child validate that, okay, now I am old and I am responsible? Usizo Gomo once tweeted that there's really no need to have a child. And I see congestion. So having a child is up to two people. If we want to have a child or not, we'll discuss it between ourselves, and we'll have a child when we are ready. When just wait and see if it happens or it doesn't happen. And if it doesn't happen, don't ask. Simple. Other people are simply not having a child because they are not financially, physically, and emotionally ready. Having a child is taxing emotionally, physically, and financially. Abantwana bayadura. Let me tell you this. Having a child is very expensive. If I have to. And you have to be ready emotionally. You have to be ready physically. And then if a 30-year-old woman or a 30-year-old man or a couple is not ready to have a child, and then they say to you, I'm still working on my career, I am still not ready emotionally. No, but bayakhula, people like saying that, no, but bayakhula. Okay, yeah, but what if I want to raise my child in a mansion? What if I want to raise my child, drive them for their vaccinations in a Porsche? But besides izinto zemali and materialistic things, you need to be able to wake up ebusuku and feed the child. You need to be able to take care of another human being outside yourself. And I think most of the time this is why couples don't usually make it after having a child, because now they realize actually Nomtana is not just taking pictures and posting them on social media. It needs a lot of work. It needs two people to work on it. Well, yeah, I just want to be a single parent and whatever. But when the child gets here, shit hits the fan. We are going to, okay, emotionally, this child is taxing me. That is why other mothers undergo postpartum depression, because sometimes kuba trauma ohlangana nayo. Sometimes you just undergo situations that you can't deal with alone, So only have a child when you feel like, now I'm ready. Now I can take up any challenge that comes with me being a parent. Otherwise, if your mom or your uncle or your dad or someone just has a little chit chat with you and asks you, just tell them, I have a child when I'm ready. That's it. Moving on, other people don't have kids just because they are simply not into the idea of having kids. They don't want to have kids, and that is okay. Other people don't have kids at all. Yes, other people don't want kids. I had a friend who didn't want children at all, and she would say it over and over and over and over. I don't want to have kids. And I understand. Other people don't want kids, period. And that's okay. Having a ring on my finger, or having umuntu ongibhadalele ilobolo, or being over 30 years old does not necessarily now mean I have to have children. to the ways corner. Not all of us have to contribute to the cycle of life, that we need to be born, recreate, procreate, and then die. Not all of us want to do that, and that is okay. Let us respect people's decisions. You know, it's between two people to say, okay, baby, now we want to have children. Okay, we'll sit down. Actually, we don't see the need to have children. Do you want children? Okay, now this is me asking my partner. So people sit down and ask, do you want to have kids? And then and then they move on like that. And asiko iso no lapo. So now stop putting them in an awkward situation where they have to cover up and say, no, we're not ready. No, we will. You know, that's that. You didn't want to hear this one. You probably thought I was not gonna say it, but it's none of your business why people don't have children. There, I said it. Don't ask people when they're having kids, because it is none of your business. Stay away from people's wombs. Stay away from people's wombs. Simple. It's not gonna change the direction your life is changing. It's not gonna take away anything from you. Don't ask people when they're having children, because it is not your business. If you want to have 5 kids, have 5 kids. But don't ask me when I'm having children. Don't ask me when I'm having the second child. Is this your womb? Are we sharing this womb? No, we are not. So why do you feel the need to ask me? Mind yours, drink water, have your own kids, raise your own kids. Or are you tired now of seeing your kids playing alone? Now you want other people to have children. Ungenaphi ezindabeni zabantu, ungenaphi ukuthi omunye uba nomntana wesi-2 or omunye uba ne-firstborn. It's none of your business. Stay away from it. Simple. Impilo yakho ngeke izishintshe, angeke uze ufe. Nothing's gonna happen. Other people don't have children because of health reasons. You know, there's blocked tubes, there's problems with ovulation, there's fibroids, there's this and that, UTIs. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of health reasons that are forcing people to say, okay, let us pause a little on having children and deal with this situation, you know? So imagine now you're coming to me and ask me why I don't have children, and I'm telling you, I'm still actually dealing with fibroids. Actually my fallopian tubes are blocked, you know? There's a lot of things. So to avoid putting people in an awkward situation, let us stop asking them awkward questions. What if the person I'm with right now is not the person I feel like I want to have children with? You know, there's a lot of reasons. So yeah, I don't want to get too deep into these reasons, but I think the ones I've given you are the most common ones, and I think and I hope that from hearing this, we are going to stop asking people when they're having children. Like I said, zibambe bamba leyo itchiness yokuthi ubuza umuntu ukuthi ubani nomntwana. No couple is obliged to have children. There's no deadline. There is no formula in life. I know we all think life has to go a certain way, but there is no such thing. We all choose whether we want kids or not. Solution is never ask people when they are having children. Simple. You might be hurting them. You might be opening up old wounds. They might not want to talk about it. And I just want to give a few tips to couples who find this question awkward. That if someone walks up to you and asks you, when are you having children, you can either be savage or choose to be nice or ignore altogether. Should I tell you this tip? Because I'm a savage. You can say to them, that's a really good question. I wish I knew the answer, but I don't. Or you can simply educate them and say, did you know that many people who want children can't have them? What if I'm one of them? Or you can simply choose to be sassy about it and say, Or you can simply say, I don't know actually, but when I have an answer, you'll be the first one to know. Or you can say, I'm starting up a list of babysitters. Would you like to be one of them? Why are you asking me, do you want to help me pay for school fees? Do you want to help me carry my child? Oh, actually, I don't know. My sperm or my egg is very picky. Oh, I was thinking actually next week at 5 p.m. Does that sound good to you? Just to shut them out. Just to shut them up, you know? But anyway, in all seriousness, kids are very expensive. Not everyone wants kids, so let us all stay in our lanes and never ask people when they're giving birth. I also feel like this video was all over the place, but I also feel like the message has been put across. So liwenzile umsebenzi eliphumele lona izwi lami lamuhla. My name is Nompumelelo Makakula and this is Mommy Diaries. Today we were talking about reasons why we shouldn't ask people when they're having kids. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to see you next week. Bye.